So, Ryan, this marks the first time in more than a decade that songs from Out of Ashes will be performed live. What's it been like emotionally preparing to revisit the music and honor Chester Bennington's legacy here?
It's interesting because it's taken a long time for us to be emotionally comfortable enough to try to do it. It's just taken a lot of years. There are a lot of opportunities to do stuff with this music, and we do, I'd say, about 0% of them. So, you know, we get, when you're dealing with an artist like Chester and a band like Linkin Park, I mean, there isn't anything bigger, right? What's bigger? You can't find you can't find a Coldplay or a U2 or anything that's all the same scale. It's just the biggest thing ever. And he's such a phenomenal, the vo basically a voice of our generation, one of the voices of our generation. So when you're involved in something like that, the opportunity, if you wanted to, do stuff with it, that's all the time. And we honestly haven't really been able to find a situation where we were comfortable enough to try to do something. And given that I've become friends with Cris over the years, obviously Julian K and Great Ace have been doing some touring, and um, thanks to Sean, I've kind of gotten to know him and see him perform and hear him sing and just really kind of get that level of comfort that I think that we would need to be able to do this with someone. It's just for us, I think it's taken something like that where we think that he would just destroy it and do such a great job and has so much experience and his natural, range and everything is just like right in there. I mean, it's just great. So I think it's just sort of like time mixed with like some of the natural relationships that are occurring kind of open up that door for us, and it's fantastic.
And it just flows. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, yeah.
Cris, you've built a pretty strong connection with Chester's music through both Grey Days and, in the end, the Linkin Park experience. What does it mean to you personally to perform the Dead by Sunrise material alongside Ryan?
That's that's a really good question. The Gray Days material is Chester at like 18 to 21, I believe that was. It was like the early
Mhm.
90s. And so I got to like experience and perform Chester's music when it was just raw talent. Like nothing out before Linkin Park, before DBS. It was just raw soul and talent. And that was super fun for me. And then fast forward to the Linkin Park experience, that's like dialed, polished, perfect Chester. And so I was missing that middle ground. I wanted like what was happening in the middle of Gray Days and Linkin Park where you still had the raw emotion, but you also have a bit more polished Chester. And those two things combined is probably what excites me about doing this, is because that's like the sweet spot for Chester. Polished but raw and still emotional. So that's the super exciting part for me, is like it's kind of like I'm closing the circle here on experiencing all of the stages of his life.
Love it. That's very cool. I'm sure he'd be very impressed,
I
honestly.
hope so.
Ryan, Out of Ashes revealed a different side of Chester as a songwriter and as an artist. Looking back, what made the creative process for that album so special, and why do you think that it continues to resonate with fans even to this day?
We'll start backwards. I think that it resonates with fans because it's sort of an unadulterated look into him. That music is him. It's not, the lyrics aren't me. I can't come in and claim to be like, in most of the bands that I'm in, I'm a big writer. I write guitars, I write synthesizers, I program drums. I play drums terribly, but I can program drums really well. And I'm a pretty powerful voice. I come up with lyrics, I come up with song names, all sorts of stuff. In Dead by Sunrise, we purposefully set out to create an environment where he could express his ideas. And of course, we wrote and we own, and we are owners in this project. We own songwriting, all that kind of stuff, publishing, all that kind of stuff. Parts on the guitar that I'm playing, I wrote. And we really set out to make sure that we didn't put our vision over his. We really wanted to enable him to do something that he wasn't doing in Linkin Park. We wanted to make sure, out of respect for Linkin Park and love for Linkin Park, to make what we were doing really different and to make it be sort of like an outlet and stuff that he couldn't necessarily do with Linkin Park. You know, Linkin Park is, pretty flawless band. It's pretty amazing. I mean, you have, just this collection of amazing songwriters, and everyone is literally amazing at what they do and like nine other things. So, you gotta try to do something with him that doesn't that doesn't go into that world. So we really set out to make sure that we let him express himself. Obviously he expressed himself in Linkin Park, but this was sort of like the unadulterated him. Like, we recorded it, moving toward the front of the question, we recorded it all together in this studio, or at least initially wrote it and recorded a version of the album in this studio, sitting largely right over here.
Mhm.
And, I remember him out in this room outside of my studio. There's my pool, and there's like we call it the swim room because this is kind of like right next to the pool. And he would sit out there at this table, and I remember his beautiful little handwriting, writing all these lyrics like it was a diary. And he would just sit down and just go, just be writing like in the morning, and then we would come in here and work. And in a lot of ways, I feel like this was a diary entry for Chester. And it might be a snapshot, or it might be a lot of stuff from his past, brought into this, but it was also a lot of what was going on at that moment. He was going through massive change and massive stuff, and a lot of it is well known now, and a lot of it good and a lot of it bad. And it was really captured in this. And honestly, it's one of the reasons a lot of these songs resonate with me, to the degree that I would actually tattoo the lyrics on my arm. Um, you know,
Cool.
it's uh, it's pretty special. You
Yeah.
know,
So, off the track here and off the mark, what's your thoughts on the new singer, the female singer? It brings a different touch to the band, right? Pretty cool.
I love it. I,
Yeah.
I thought it was brilliant. And, I think that it's exactly what they should have done. I think if they would have brought in a guy to sing the stuff, I think that it's no matter what you do, there's going to be a lot of the comparison people, and there's going to be some amount of haters. There are for us in Dead by Sunrise, like anything we do, if we post a picture of ourselves or whatever it is, there's a small percentage of people who say super mean things who just don't even understand how any of this works.
Hmm.
And I think for Linkin Park, it's probably even more, right? They have to deal with an even bigger amount of people that might not really approve of the
Sure.
choice. I
Hmm.
think that to only way through is to do something so ballsy
Yeah.
that,
And I
like
think,
what they did, come out with a female singer who has an astonishingly wonderful voice. I mean, just amazing voice. Just like hearing Cris sing, Linkin Park stuff and Grey Days, and especially now you hear Chris's original stuff, and Grey Days original stuff, how good it is. To hear a singer that good singing that stuff makes me really, really happy. Likewise, it makes me really happy to hear the new Linkin Park with her singing and with her interpreting the stuff that Chester sang in such an awesome way, with such a unique and incredibly capable, but just unique to her voice. What I like is she's singing the stuff and she's not trying to sound like him.
Yeah.
yeah,
And she's a woman. So it makes it so just like, did you notice that Rush came out with how do you replace Neil Peart?
you can't.
You don't.
A
You
Yeah.
female drummer.
Yeah, you do something, and I hate to say like, oh, it's a woman, so that like removes some hate. People have to watch their mouths. That's not really what I mean. There's just they did something that's just really different. It's a very different answer that is really hard to imagine, and it works. And same for Rush. Like, you have this female who's just so good. When you watch it, you're just like, oh my God, you just can't even say anything bad because it just wins on so many levels. So that's how I feel about the current incarnation of Linkin Park, and I love the new songs. And yeah, I
That's
have a lot of mutual friends. I share mutual friends with her, and I don't know her personally, but I've heard all these wonderful things about her. So I'm super happy for that.
And it brings a new audience, I think, too, with a
Yeah,
different appreciation for the band
yeah,
and that type
yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
This upcoming concert that you guys have brings together Julian Kay, in the end, the Lincoln Park Experience, and the music of Dead by Sunrise for one unforgettable evening, I can only imagine. How did this collaboration come together, and what can fans expect from this unique celebration?
That's a good question.
I only
Well,
come up with the best questions, you know.
a lot of it, we in the first question I sort of alluded to, obviously I become friends with Chris or we've become friends from literally just doing things together and touring together makes people friends. It's
Yeah.
definitely a special thing, sharing the stage together and all that kind of stuff. And when we talked about doing some Julian K shows together with in the end, it to me it just like it just a light went off and I was like, well, we could probably do some Dead by Sunrise songs. This is like one of the rare times that we could ever do it with someone that could credibly make this happen. And, this is not something we do. This is not, we could, we're allowed to go play as Dead by Sunrise and we could be doing this, but we're not, so this is very special and it takes a very special situation with a very special singer to be able to, be comfortable enough to do this. And I think that that's just, it became apparent to me, like, when Chris and I just talked for a second about, you know, doing something together, playing a show together or whatever.
I had thought about it. I had thought about it before because Ryan was when we got Grade A's together in 2023, one of the very first shows that we did, Ryan was our first call to come out
Mm,
and do a song with us.
mm,
Um, because the history, like that's
mm,
what all of this is. It's just a big community. And
mhm.
so I brought we like Ryan, you were my first call for that show
That's
at Canyon in Agora.
that's cool.
And um and that went so well and that's kind of like where we really connected, me and Ryan.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we went on tour together after that as Gray Days and Julian K. And we had, Ryan respects DBS so much, and I never wanted to like say, "Hey, this is an idea," but I did want, in the end, and Julian K to do something special in Los Angeles, and in the end doesn't play Los Angeles very often. We're all over the other, areas of the nation, and we were just like, "How can we make this really special?" And I was like, "I got a phone call that I can
Mm.
make."
Mm-hmm.
I
Very
made the
cool.
same phone call 3 years ago, and
Ah,
I'm gonna make this phone call again. And I was like, "Can we get Julie and Kay on?" And that just led to an organic. Oh, wait a second, we
mhm.
could actually do DBS as well.
The door just kind of opened a little bit.
Yeah,
But my
yeah.
question is, did you make a call on a phone like this?
The bat phone.
The red
It's funny.
rotary phone.
What's really funny is I'm an old man with a little kid, and I have a 3-year-old,
So
and I'm over 50. Um, what am I thinking?
that's not all.
And in my neighborhood, it's exploded with kids, which has been amazing.
Uh-huh.
And so there's a lot of little three. There's like 9 3-year-olds on my street, which is like it's like the best thing ever. Well, guess what? The new like 3-year-old like little thing, instead of like cups with a string, we have like little like modern landline phones that only call their phones
Oh, no
Oh,
and they
way.
talk on
cute.
the phone. It's so
That's so
cute. So
cute.
I have video and pictures of my daughter, like the little neighbor boy calls, and she's like, oh, and she runs and she jumps on the back of the couch, and lays on it, belly down, and on the phone with the
So
little neighbor boy,
cute.
and
Her feet are up, just
with
talking.
their feet up.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so cute. So
That's adorable.
I think in today's age with these and all the good and bad that comes with it, and a lot of bad for kids,
Yeah.
I think that there's definitely with AI and all this kind of stuff, I think that there's going to be a resurgence in humanity.
I hope
I
People wanting to do things for real, go to shows, go experience stuff for real.
there
Anyways,
needs to
that's
be.
another interview, but
No,
I'm
there
a
needs
massive
to be.
advocate.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more, and that's very cute, by the way. It's a very cute story. I just got my red phone out today, and I was using it for a prop for something I was doing, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh, we're
so
talking about
cool.
phones. Let me bring out the red rotary phone while we're
Hmm.
talking about a phone
Please tell
call.
me that thing still works.
It does.
No, it's
Nice.
amazing.
Yes, it's an actual modern. It's a remake. It's a modern one, and you can Bluetooth it and
Mm.
answer
Oh,
everything. So
nice.
pretty fun.
That's how these are. So we can call her little yellow phone.
That's so
Right.
cute.
So I call her sometimes from tour. So it's the cutest thing you've ever seen.
That's adorable. You've got to get every moment on video as much as you can. It's very cute.
There aren't enough gigs in the world.
I know,
Yeah.
right? Oh, so cute. For both of you, Chester's music continues to inspire fans around the world. What do you hope longtime fans and those discovering Dead by Sunrise for the first time will take away from this special performance at the Bellwether, which is coming up on what date, guys? August 2nd, isn't
August
it?
1st.
August
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 1st.
1st.
1st. Yeah. Yeah.
Bellwether in LA. Cool.
Hmm.
Yep.
Hmm.
I'll just kick that one off. It's really interesting. We started the Linkin Park tribute band in 2018, and I didn't even know what a tribute band was. Like we just me and my session musician friends just wanted to go do a show celebrating his life at the Viper Room. And
That's amazing.
dude, it was one single show, and a manager hit us up. It was like it's just like the movies, and then we go all over the place, and then we learn that a tribute world is actually a thing, and but we never thought of ourselves as a tribute band. Like all I wanted to do was pay tribute to him and the music of Linkin Park. But what's interesting is since I started that, every single year since then, Chester's legacy gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And his work with mental health nonprofits gets bigger and bigger and more well known. And what I'm noticing is the knowledge of him and the specialness of him and his legacy just continues to grow. That's very interesting to me.
Absolutely.
I,
Timeline.
that's
Yeah.
I just learned some stuff. I love it. That's awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Um,
dude.
I think what I would, every time I play these songs, like I'm rehearsing some of the songs that we're going to play here in my studio. I do everything here, by the way, guys. So if it looks like I
Amazing
have a setup
studio.
for Zoom, it's because I do.
Yeah,
It's because I do.
I love it.
So yeah, I mean, I'm doing this shit all day long. I'm rehearsing these songs, and I remember the feeling of playing them, with him. And I remember like a couple of songs, like Inside of Me, My Suffering, stuff like that. It's like when you start playing it, I remember that it feels like I'm getting on a roller coaster, and I can barely hold on to the roller coaster because they're just kicking ass, and I'm just like, man, and I remember what Linkin Park told us when we rehearsed for the first time with them. They were cool enough to take us on tour with them, and we came out in the middle of their set in all over the world, in Japan and Europe and everywhere. And that's how we kind of broke it to people. Like, hey, Chester's, I'm doing a solo project. Can we play a couple songs for you? And then we would come out and play a couple Dead by Sunrise songs in front of 45,000 people. And when we were rehearsing for that, we would kind of do it in rehearsal. Like, they would kind of sit down on the couch and we would go play, and it's a big rehearsal place and everything. And we would play. And then Mike goes, I think it was Mike or somebody was like shaking his head after we played. He's like, guys, like, you guys are going to just destroy people. He's like, it's like you lit a stick of dynamite and it like blows up when you guys play. It's so heavy. It's like so gnarly. And I'm like, I know, that's how I feel. Like my arms are going to come off. Like it's just, holy shit. And it's just that, like, it's all really simple guitar parts and simple stuff, but there's just a moving to it that I think that writing something with Chester, get capturing that in him, that's what it's like. You get on the roller coaster and it's going so fast, and then the song finally it's done and you're like, woo, and I hope that people feel that. I hope that people feel like that. Holy shit, this band just, wow, their songs are pretty amazing. And I think that, it takes a special singer to do that. And then once again, I'm happy to be able to do that and hopefully capture that feeling again.
What's really funny about that is like doing Chester's parts is like the hardest thing in the whole entire world. And I keep finding myself doing more and more of it. But like I heard the Dead by you're absolutely right in singing it, the Dead by
Dude,
Sunrise stuff. I'm
dude.
like, dude, I gotta stretch, I gotta like
Yep.
twist.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a roller coaster.
Yes.
Um,
Like the song gets going and you almost second guess whether or not we should have started that thing. Because that's how I feel. I'm like, man, okay, here we go. Now we can't stop. And I had, seen backups behind that guy. And that would also be like getting on a roller coaster because I have to fly behind that supersonic jet. And
yeah.
yeah, it was pretty fun.
I'm like, when
Pretty
does this
cool.
dude breathe? I'm like,
Yeah, yes. Yes.
because in LP you have Chester and Mike,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so I get a little bit of breather over
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
you know. But then Dead by Sunrise is just like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like shit, man.
Yeah. And he would embellish live, like
Yeah,
add more. And I'm like, I'm literally like, I mean, yeah.
Flawed.
I was like,
Yes,
bro, what is wrong with you? It's insane.
amazing. Looking beyond August 1st for the show,
Mhm.
do you see his performance as a one-night celebration, or could it be the beginning of more opportunities to honor Chester's legacy and the music of Dead by Sunrise?
I mean, speaking for our side, I certainly hope so. Um, I'm surprised that I don't. I think I'm finally at a point where I think I can do it. There are times, to be completely honest with you, where if I start playing those songs, I can't make it through. It's still really hard for me.
Yeah,
I still have some really dark times because that was my best friend,
yeah,
and there's nothing that makes that right. But time is, you know, time is a real thing, and it does help. And it's kind of nice to like Amir is okay with playing it, and it's with someone we love and our friend, and in a moderately comfortable kind of situation. I hope that we do this and it's awesome, and we feel really good about trying to do it again, you know. But we'll see. We'll
yeah.
see.
And
a friend of mine wisely said one time, and I'll never forget that he said this, but he said, "Good music should never die."
Dude,
It
it's funny because I've said this in a lot of interviews. My last conversation with Chester was about, one of the things I was ordered to do was to do everything I could do with Dead by Sunrise. He said, he was getting ready to go out and tour and release that LP album, and we were just getting ready to release our album, and we were both going on tour separate ways, and we were talking about recording new Dead by Sunrise stuff. And he was super excited about it. He was talking about Grey Days, and he was super excited about that. And we had a super big hangout night. And he was like, dude, you asked me to go sing Let Down with you guys during one of your sets, and I couldn't come, and because I had this other Linkin Park thing. And he goes, I just want to let you know, like, bro, he goes, don't ask me if you guys should play it. He goes, even if I can't be there, you should not let our music just sit. We created this music. It's designed to be heard and it's designed to be played. I'm going to be mad at you if you don't go play the music. And he told me this on multiple occasions. So it's hard now, but I always have to keep that in mind that we should play it and we should look for stuff to release. That's why we did this latest sort of re-release with some live stuff. We have a couple more things to release as well that are going to be really special. But, just so everyone knows that I was told to do this
mm,
on
yeah,
multiple occasions. I was told to perpetuate Dead by Sunrise, to try to get the music heard by as many people as possible. I was told to sing it, to play it, to do all this stuff, and that this was a positive thing. And I think he's right. If something, God forbid, ever happened to me and people just stopped playing my music, that's like the worst thing ever. It's the
yeah.
worst idea ever. So yeah, I think that hopefully yeah,
keep
hopefully
it
we will
going.
play it more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
part of you. It's part of him, and it's part of your
Yeah.
soul. And you can't let it's almost like letting your soul die if you're not getting the music out there.
Yeah.
So I think it's perfect timing.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting. I'm sure
Yeah.
people are going
Yeah.
to love it. So I'm glad that I got to have this platform to have the opportunity to talk about it as well. And very so happy that you took the time to talk to me today. Very exciting.
Our pleasure.
Of
Yeah.
Yeah.
course,
Thank
you
you.
got tickets. If you want to come out, you got tickets to it. Just let us
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're stoked. We're
We're
excited.
happy. We're happy. Awesome.